I'm delighted to be joined by Eric Witham, co-founder of Sons of Amazon today. The third interview as part of our series on the cost of living crisis, led by Amazon Small Business Accelerator and in association with Small Business Britain. Eric,
hi Alex.
Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Today, coming down from Scotland
all
today.
the way down from Glasgow this morning.
Absolutely, and going back today. So
I'm going back today, so perfect.
Thank you so much for coming down. Before we get into the cost of doing business, as we should probably call it, the cost of living, whatever you might call it. Let's start with a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself and tell us about Sons of Amazon.
Sons of Amazon is a strong coffee. It's also an ethical-based coffee. We bring and import our coffee from Brazil, from the Amazon region, hence the name Sons of Amazon. All our coffee is Rainforest Alliance certified, which is really, really important for us, Alex, because that's all about sustainability. Now, when we first started manufacturing and producing this coffee, we spent about a year in R&D, finding the right coffee beans for this particular product. But it wasn't just producing a strong coffee. It was also being able to make sure that the product was ethical. Yeah. And that's the whole foundation of our product. But to be brave enough and to go for a name like we did, it's our USP. It really is. It's people will. We talked about this earlier with our search engine optimization.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've spent £0 on SEO because of the strength of our brand name and the listings we have with Amazon, with other partners. We've had no need to
and some pretty impressive packaging as well, which I know we'll get onto.
Yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. But it was basically born, the whole Sons of Amazon was born from a conversation we had very drunkenly in a restaurant where we said, waiter, can you please bring us some strong coffees? And we were served a weak latte. When we started to Google strong coffee, we found nothing.
Okay.
And that was a light bulb moment. My business partners have been involved in the coffee business for 25 years. I've been involved in marketing and advertising for 30 years. The two married together, and we came up with Sons of Amazon Strong and Fair Coffee.
Brilliant. And how's business been going?
Business has been tough the last 6 months. We talked earlier about the pandemic. We did very well in the pandemic with Amazon. With the cost of living crisis, it's difficult when you've got a premium product. Yeah. Right. There's no doubt about it. Our products are at the premium end of the market. That's because our beans are grown to order, and the import costs and our roasting costs are obviously have gone up and up over the last year. Our energy bill for our coffee roasters is eye-watering. And it's very difficult then to try and pass that cost onto the consumer when you're already at the premium end of the market. Yeah. You can't keep adding on £1 here or 50 pence here, another £1 on here before you've really outpriced yourself. But in the meantime, your costs are going up and up and up. And I'm very proud to say that we've only put our costs up once in the last 2 years.
Okay.
And that was only 3 months ago we had to put up our costs.
And that was as a result of?
That is a result of our increased costs in energy, having to match like for like. We had retained the same RRP for about 2 years.
Had you? Okay.
Yeah. We absorbed some costs.
Because it's a very difficult decision to make, right? But when you're in a position, which is quite a unique position in the UK and in Scotland, where you are roasting coffee beans in the UK, like there are some pretty significant overheads in doing that.
There's a huge significant overheads on that, and the devil's in the detail. And we talked earlier about efficiencies in ordering. So we will order en masse. We will order larger quantities to keep our unit costs as low as we can. Yes, we've got warehousing costs, and we've got costs associated with that, but we have done our numbers. And it works out cheaper in the long run, and that's a bit of business planning there.
But you've then to be in that position to do so, you've got to have a pretty tight balance sheet anyway and manage your costs very well. And to you, I guess you've got to have the foresight to predict.
You have to
in
have the
future
foresight
and to be brave enough.
Yeah,
right?
things fluctuate, things will fluctuate, prices will fluctuate, customers will come, customers will go. We're on Subscribe and Save, which is a great saving on Marketplace for our customers, and that builds in a little bit of brand loyalty as well. Okay, and it's a great feature. And I think the general public don't like to see prices fluctuate too much. So we've factored in, we've had to model that within the business to try and keep our costs consistent within the business. So that is ordering probably at higher, bringing in more bags, for example, bulk ordering to keep our costs. And also if we bulk order, it means we've probably got packaging materials that will last us maybe a year, 18 months. So we will then start to plan what that cost might be in about 18 months time.
Which is an interesting dynamic, right? Because you would have thought that cost of living crisis, everyone flips from the long term to the short term. It's sort of daily survival, right? But I guess what you're saying here is that you're looking at not just surviving, but actually what's the plan in 18 months' time? Which is super important.
Yeah, super important. And we talked about this earlier in the terms of our wholesalers. They're on just-in-time ordering processes at the moment. They're not stocking coffee and leaving that and having stuff in the warehouses. They're phoning the factory up and wanting, they're down to their last couple of bags and then they'll phone us up and we have to react to that in some way. But that's a kind of a different sort of model on the wholesale. But generally as a small business, it's about trying to keep the costs manageable because they are fluctuating so much. And that has been the challenge for small businesses over the last 6 months. I think the next 6 months will settle down a little bit. I can see that settling down already, but it is still super challenging out there, especially when you're working on sort of coffee is a cash flow commodity. We're having to buy in our raw coffee. We're having to roast it. Those
and a long time in advance, right? Because you've got to ship it in.
Yeah, and we've got to ship it in, and we're at the mercy sometimes of what those import costs might be at any particular time. So it is challenging. It's super challenging. But we react to that in different ways, and we have to build the business so that we're not reliant on a number of things. So one of the products that we brought into the market was our compostable pods, for example. So we're not reliant on we have a pod machine. We have other products that we can rely on.
And I think that piece there I'd like to sort of spend a little bit more time on, because You've mentioned some of the challenges, the cost of raw materials, the cost of energy costs, the cost of labour, the cost of shipping. And I know that shipping costs have somewhat reduced over the last 6 months. But in this time, and you mentioned sort of pivoting your business, you've pivoted to compostable pods as well. But have you had to do anything else to sort of pivot your business to navigate what has been a very difficult time for small businesses?
Yes, we have. I think we've started to look at different routes to market. Okay. So we know that our Amazon Marketplace has a very loyal customer base, and that we can rely on that for sales. So we start to look at building upon that, and we're looking at developing more wholesale markets. And we're bringing in sort of brand extensions as well. So while we've got our super strong coffee, our high caffeine coffee, we recognise that's not suitable for everybody.
Yeah.
That's not going to be sold in high street coffee shops. It's too expensive. It's a premium product. And also it's not to everybody's taste. It's a strong coffee. Not everybody likes a strong coffee. So you have to listen to your customers. On Amazon Marketplace, the strong coffee sells all day long because that's what people are searching for. We are the dominant and the leaders in the search term strong coffee. We will be up there on the first part. That's great. Yeah. We can live it. That's fantastic. Love it, right? When we start to look at the wholesale market, it's a totally different market. Okay, they don't want that's super premium for them.
Sure.
They're not going to make enough margin. So as a business, we've then had to look at our expertise and our skills and transfer that into other sectors.
Yeah.
And that's what this product has done. So we've softened away from the black, for example. Our packaging, we've now got fully compostable packaging because we're listening to what our customers are wanting to say. So our core product, our strong coffee, through Amazon Marketplace, we have a very loyal customer base there. And we can track that through lots of various bits of data that Amazon supply to us. But if we were to go back out into the high street and to look at the general public on the high street, then we needed to do something slightly different, but still retain the brand ethics and our credentials. So we've kind of softened our message a little bit, Alex. We've taken the skull away, for example. The skull's great on Amazon. People love the skull, right? People think, oh, dangerous coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. Ooh. And if you look at all our competitors, we've all got skulls and it's black and it's slightly dangerous. But if we're going to go wholesale high street, mass market, learn. We're niche. We know our products really well. Yeah. Okay, we're very niche. But then to open that up, and this is for growth for the business. Okay, and again, this is value. I think this for all small businesses. It's finding that funnel, that gateway into a much wider audience. We're going to start fishing in a bigger pond. So we did a little bit of basic research and we listened to what our customers were telling us, our wholesale customers. And we started to look at what our brand really means. Okay, so we're still quality, strong coffee, still a quality product, still ethical. And we decided that although the coffee's still Rainforest Alliance certified, that's one area, we wanted to sort of give something back. We wanted to hook up with a charity, and that charity is coolearth.org. And they are a charity that look after a very specific area in Brazil and in the rainforest in Brazil. And it's about making sure there's programs in place, sustainable programs in place at a local level. Okay, RFA, Rainforest Alliance, is an organisation. This is now a charity.
Sure. And
we wanted to give something back. So we're going to give something between 3 to 5% of each bag sale back into that charity, and I think that is a very good product extension for.
But has that been a sort of difficult decision to make? Because it's a phenomenal story, but if just a couple of minutes ago you were talking about price challenges,
and here we are giving away some money.
Exactly.
So
run me through that, Eric.
Exactly, Alex. And it does sound mad, but you have to play to your brand strengths. That's what we're all about. We're all about sustainability with this particular product and this brand. If we don't do that, then we're not living up to our ethics and living up to our brand promises. Our customers are demanding that from us. They want something different. If you're going to go to a coffee shop and spend £3.50 or £4 for a coffee, which is a big spend now, cost of living crisis, cups of coffee have gone up. You now have a choice, okay? You hand over your money and not think about it, or you can hand over your money and actually think, oh, hang on a minute, if I'm going to buy this particular product and it's giving something back, then that's a choice, it's a consumer choice. And actually what we're doing is giving consumers choice. As a small business, we are now giving our consumers some sort of choice in the market.
A broader choice. So I guess that's a
much broader choice.
That's the message, right? Absolutely. Is that you could have, with soaring prices, you could have sort of put the blinkers on and just doubled down on your core product,
kept
right?
Putting our prices up and up and up and up.
But you made a conscious decision to not do that.
Keep our prices steady as we can and start to give consumers different choices, okay, and actually give something back and give the consumer a good choice in their coffee offering.
And you've diversified not just in product type, but you've also diversified in the countries that you're selling coffee into, correct?
Yes, absolutely, yes. So when we set the business up in 2019, pre-Brexit, we had all the European Amazon stores, we had UK, and that was all managed from the UK side through Marketplace and through FBA. Just pre-Brexit, we had to close those just because of VAT issues, but we identified that Australia and New Zealand was a great channel for us. And actually Australia is a huge coffee drinking
the home of the flat white, isn't it?
The home of the flat white, absolutely. And we identified that Amazon, the marketplace, and FBA was just starting in Australia and New Zealand, I think late 2019. And when we approached Marketplace, we were going to be one of the first UK-based coffees to land in Australia. But what we had to do was to find a distributor.
Okay.
And we did more than find a distributor in Australia. We have a license holder in Australia. So for a small business to find license holders in other countries, it's challenging, but very rewarding. Okay. So how that works is that that license holder pays us a fee, an annual fee, for the privilege and the use of our logo.
Okay.
And we let them do what they kind of want to do at a local level. So we still roast in Glasgow, and we export to Sydney. And that process is actually quite seamless. It's actually quite straightforward. It's
wow.
So long as we build in your timeframes of about 16 weeks.
Okay.
But it's given a small business like ourselves a huge new market to operate in, still at a very micro level, still at a small business. And we're now listed on Amazon in Australia and New Zealand.
Which again goes to show that, you know, you could have again made the conscious decision to just focus on inside the UK, right? But and I don't think anyone would have been surprised if you'd done so. But the conscious decision from you here is to err on the side of, I guess, risk, but potential growth opportunities.
It's potential growth opportunities at all levels.
Even under the shadow of incredibly high prices, a cost of doing business, a cost of living crisis, you have not been sat still.
As a small business, if you sit still and do nothing, you'll only see your bottom line being eroded. You have to find other opportunities. You have to find other markets. Straight after Australia, once we managed to crack and get our products into Marketplace in Australia, we went straight to FBA in America. We used that same model, and we ended up talking to Amazon Marketplace, and we now have products being shipped in I think it's Boston that it goes into. And once the paperwork was all done for Australia, we just flipped that around. So it wasn't a huge decision to be made because our hard work was already done with our products in Australia. So the advice there and the lesson there is actually it's not actually that difficult if you're using the right resource and the right channels. And is
it maybe from speaking to some of your other small business owners, is it more of a lack of understanding or a lack of information or a fear factor that puts people off trying these, I guess, exporting initiatives, growth initiatives?
I think there's a fear factor there, Alex. I think there's a fear factor because we went into exporting to Australia really without a clue how to do it. Neither myself nor Marco have exported before. What we did do was talk to you guys.
Okay.
And figure out how to do it. We actually made a noise about that. We actually, hello, we're on your platform in the UK. We're pretty much maybe a category leader for you. Can you help us get into these particular markets? And of course, the answer was going to come back is yes.
Yeah.
Now, it's still up to us to make sure we're compliant and the logistics are in place. But actually, to get our products, once we're landed in Sydney, into Marketplace and FBA was actually very seamless because they were using the same information they had from the UK storefronts that we had.
Sure.
And using that for verification purposes. So all the verification purposes that we've done on a grocery product, of course, it's already ticked.
Yeah.
It's already done. We don't have to do that for each territory, and that's an important lesson, I think. If you've got a product that you want to have in Europe or in America or Australia, is that all the paperwork, if you've got it done in the UK, Marketplace will transfer that into those other markets.
So actually, I guess that it doesn't necessarily need to be as we hear a lot of scaremongering or a lot of this a sort of post-Brexit, everyone potentially looking insular, but actually using what you've already got, the building blocks in the UK, asking the right people, whether it be organisations such as Amazon or other marketplaces, all working with the Department for International Trade. There are opportunities and you're able to get support and advice to help you on that journey.
I think third quarter, first quarter next year, or fourth quarter this year, we will be going back into Europe. We will be putting our products back into the German marketplace. And what I understand from that process is Amazon are helping small businesses with the VAT issues there. So for Europe, you need localized VAT numbers. And I think Amazon are putting a program into place for small businesses to help us do that. So I'm super excited about that, because that was a big market for us. Germany and the Nordic countries, huge coffee drinkers. Finland, for example, is Europe's largest coffee consumption country. Not Italy.
Really?
Not Spain. Finland.
So you had the double blow of post-Brexit Britain and also soaring energy bill crisis, soaring raw materials, factory closed.
We were having product halfway shipped, landing in docks, and we had no means of actually getting it. Yeah, it was
pretty significant.
It was pretty significant.
Did you ever find yourself in the position where you thought, actually, do you know what? Let's call it a day.
Never give up.
Never
give up. And I think that's the mindset for most small businesses and directors and owners of small businesses is trying never to give up. If something's not working,
be agile.
Be agile. Absolutely. And that's one of my biggest pieces of information or biggest piece of advice is that we can adapt. If you've got a core product and if your USP is great, and people like your USP, then you can adapt that across number of channels. Exactly what we've done here. We're going after different markets. One of our areas we want to look at in the next couple of years is we're going to diversify into some clothing. Sons of Amazon clothing, some apparel, t-shirts, caps, pin badges, apparel. It's brand extensions.
Yeah. Okay. So we're basically seeing just the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So. Plans for the remainder of 2023 and into 2024?
2023, we're going to go much more on down the wholesale market. We're going to capitalise on Amazon Marketplace. We're going to use that as the anchor to diversify with our Cool Earth particular product. We're going to probably just try and cap it till the end of 2023 at that. And I think 2024, I think is going to be, I think for a lot of small businesses, 2024 is all about getting back into Europe again. Okay. I think that's if you've had a product that's already been in Europe and you've had to take it out, it's now time to put that back in again. I firmly believe that 2024 will be.
But I really like what you said there, where you said it's probably time to cap it at that, and I think so. It's a balancing act between, being brave, finding opportunity, but also not overextending yourself so that you put yourself in a position of risk, right?
The hardest thing for small businesses at the moment is finding new customers. That is the challenge. That is the hardest thing. We can communicate to existing customers all day long through all our social channels. And these are the people that are already engaged with your brand and buying the brand. They're great. We know them, we love them. It's finding the people that don't know our brand. And if you're on limited marketing budgets or limited advertising budgets, the challenge for this year is how to capture the new customers, because those new customers are tightening their wallets. They're not looking to they're looking for brands that are going to make a slight difference to their why would they going to spend? Why would they spend with somebody new when they have trusted brands already that they like?
They're not going to be as adventurous.
They're not going to be as adventurous. That's why small businesses have to come back with adventurous products. Something new to
something to entice them.
Something to entice them. Absolutely. I think for small business at the moment, it's managing the funds that we've got and not overextending, keeping a cap on our purchasing well. We've purchased well in advance, keeping a cap on costs, not overextending, and riding out to the end of the year. I think
those sound like three pretty good top tips for businesses, small or large, to be honest, like yourselves in this current climate.
And keep banging on about your USPs. Keep banging that drum. Give the customers something to really hang their hats on. Give them you're a specialist in your particular field. You might have a product that you're specialist in. Keep that to your customers. They'll love you.
Product.
Yeah, the authentic product. Yeah,
absolutely.
If you've got loyal customers, it's about keeping your loyal customers.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been great to have a chat. Very excited about the new brand and very excited to try it.